everybody, welcome to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Ty.
And I'm Allie.
And we are Downset Fly Media.
Last year we were both unfortunately laid off from our tech jobs, which just ignited our love for traveling. We've been lucky to find our passion and have traveled to over 20 countries. We hope to inspire others to get out and see the world through our videos.
We took a weekend trip to Flagstaff, located in northern Arizona, just about 2 hours from Phoenix. Northern Arizona is so different than the typical desert you think of when you picture Arizona. During today's video, we'll be talking about all the things we did, places we ate, and more.
We stayed at the Hyatt place right in downtown Flagstaff, just a quick 15-minute walk to all the restaurants, bars, and the NAU campus. And if you didn't want to venture out too far, there were a ton of great coffee shops and restaurants nearby as well. The Hyatt place is a newer hotel, and we were actually there during its first anniversary. The hotel was really nice and clean, and they had a great pool, gym, and a solid continental breakfast too. Parking was $8 per day, and our window had views of the Route 66 trains and the mountains, which we loved.
After we dropped off our bags, we headed over to Grand Canyon Brewery for some lunch. This is our second time visiting this restaurant, as we checked out their location in Page, Arizona as well. They have a ton of beers and different cocktails that you can purchase to take home. We also really enjoyed their food, beer, and craft cocktails. Allie got the cactus lemonade and pulled pork sandwich, and I got the blackberry blonde and the bourbon barbecue chicken salad, both of which were extremely good. Our first stop here in Flagstaff is at Meteor Crater. We're excited to check it out. It was $29 per person. There was a little movie that showed you the history of the crater, but we're heading out right now, so let's check it out.
Woohoo! Meteor Crater is about 45 minutes outside of Flagstaff and is the most preserved impact meteor site in the world. They say the meteor that formed the crater was traveling so fast that it could have gotten from San Francisco to New York in just 5 minutes, and that the crater was formed within 10 seconds of impact. To get an idea of the size, it is estimated to fit 20 football stadiums with 2 million people watching inside.
So we're walking out to the Meteor site right now, and it is pretty impressive. It is extremely windy, so I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear me, but you gotta check this out. They gave presentations every 30 minutes or so, where they shared more about the history of the crater and also some fun facts. One of our favorite facts they shared was that they actually used to do tours inside the crater, but in 1987, somebody drove a VW van to the edge and pushed it in. And since then, they don't let anybody inside the crater other than groups like NASA and other professional groups. This ended up being one of our favorite stops of the weekend and something we highly recommend doing while visiting Flagstaff.
All right, we're at our second stop here in Flagstaff. This is the Walnut Canyon National Monument. We're excited to check things out.
Walnut Canyon is where you can see over 300 cliff dwellings from several native tribes in the area from about 800 years ago. To get to the cliff dwellings, you'll take the Island Trail, which is about 270 steps down. Once you're on the trail, it's fairly flat, but it's definitely a good idea to plan accordingly and bring lots of water as you are at a super high elevation. We enjoyed learning about the various native tribes that once inhabited the area, and it was super cool to see several different rooms still standing within the cliffs.
You did get a good workout going up and down the stairs here, but the views of the canyon made it well worth the trip. Entrance is free with the America the Beautiful Pass, otherwise it's $25 per car for the standard admission pass. It's a smaller monument in the area, with only around 125,000 visitors per year. Comparing this to the Grand Canyon nearby, which has almost 5.5 million visitors per year. Walnut Canyon is 400 feet deep and was carved by Walnut Creek over a period of 6 million years. We learned a lot along the trail, and we're so glad we added it to our Flagstaff weekend itinerary.
We made our way north about 50 minutes from Walnut Canyon to the Wupatki National Monument. Here you actually have two stops, the Wupatki National Monument and the Crater Volcano. This area costs $25 per vehicle to enter, or is free if you have the America the Beautiful pass.
All right, we are at our next stop of the day. We are at the Wupatki National Monument, about an hour outside of Flagstaff. It is cold and windy and looks like a storm coming behind me, but the area is so beautiful.
Wupatki is made up of pueblos dating back to the 1100s. We stopped at the Wupatki Pueblo, which is the main site located at the visitor center. Previously, these areas served as trading centers for the tribes for 100 miles in any direction.
Our second stop in this area is Crater Volcano, and this is where a volcanic eruption shaped the landscape about 900 years ago. We've made it to our last stop of the day here at Sunset Crater, walking around the lava rock trail before we head back into downtown Flagstaff for some dinner. The lava flows and cinder fields make it look and feel like you're walking on another planet. There are several trails to walk on here, some paved and others unpaved, but the lava rock trail was a short and easy paved walk, but still had great views of both the crater and San Francisco peaks.
On our way to dinner, we were briefly stopped by one of the Route 66 trains. And you're bound to get stopped by one of these trains during your stay, as an average of 100 trains pass through Flagstaff each day. We went to Pizzicletta for dinner, and they actually have two locations in Flagstaff, but the one we went to was attached to Dark Sky Brewing. We popped over to the brewery side to grab a beer as we waited for our table over at Pizzicletta to be ready. If you're a cider person, you have to try the mango foxtrot here. They also serve bar food on this side, but we had our heart set on pizza. This location is a collaborative space, so you'll have two servers, one for Dark Sky Brewing and one for Pizzicletta, and you'll have two separate checks at the end as well. We got the prosciutto and burrata and the pepperoni pizza, and they were both so good. As we continued the evening, we noticed it was super quiet in town, especially for a Friday. We later learned that it was the night before Tequila Sunrise, which is a holiday at NAU that involves drinking until the sun comes up.
We stopped to check out the Weatherford Hotel, an historic icon that has been around since 1897. The hotel has survived two major fires over the years and is rumored to be haunted, although we didn't really notice anything too spooky. It was super charming and had several bars inside. The hotel itself has 17 rooms, and each of its rooms has its own unique rustic charm. Some of the rooms have retained their original 1900s architecture, which adds to its cozy vintage vibe. On the third floor, there's a great bar called Zane, which has a balcony overlooking the downtown area. This was a perfect spot for a drink and beautiful views of downtown.
On our way back to the hotel, we decided to make one last stop at the Beaver Street Brewery, which is actually the first brewery in Flagstaff.
Good morning! Starting off our second day in Flagstaff. We're just about 30 minutes west in Williams, here at Bearizona. We got some snow last night. We're so excited to see the animals and check things out.
Bearizona is a drive-through wildlife park where you can see animals like black bears, wolves, and bison up close from your car. It's like going on a mini safari without ever leaving Arizona. We arrived about 20 minutes before they opened, as we wanted to be one of the first cars through. The weekend price was $35 per person for adults and $24 per person for children under 12. They don't limit how many times you can drive through the park, and we ended up going through the park 3 times. We absolutely loved it.
The park spans over 160 acres, and after opening in 2010, has grown to be one of northern Arizona's most popular attractions. Several of the animals that can be seen throughout the park were rescued and given a safe and natural environment to live in here. We enjoyed learning about the wildlife conservation efforts taken here, and it was really cool to see how important education on topics like these were to the park and its visitors. Seeing all the animals lounge in the sun and the wolves play in the snow was truly amazing. And one of our favorite sightings of the day was this black bear up in one of the trees.
We're stopping here in Canyonlands for lunch after we did the Bearizona loop a few times to check out all the animals, so we're hungry. Canyonlands restaurant at Bearizona is definitely one of Arizona's more unique dining experiences. It is set in a massive cave within the park, and you can view animal habitats from outdoor dining tables. They had a great selection of casual food and 2 full bars. We got the BLTA and the gluten-free mac and cheese. We also stopped at the bar for a prickly pear margarita and wild watermelon lemonade. The drinks were great, and we were pleasantly surprised by the food. I will also mention that the bars inside allowed you to take your cocktails in a to-go cup to walk around the park. After lunch, we spent some time walking through the outdoor portion of Bearizona, where we saw smaller animals like bobcats, foxes, porcupines, and more. There's also food and drink options throughout the area if you're looking for something to grab along your way.
We continued our adventure with a 45-minute or so drive before we got to Aspen Corner. Aspen Corner is a true gem of Flagstaff, especially in the fall when the aspen trees turn golden yellow. Make sure to check the Flagstaff leaf-o-meter online as they track the changing colors of the fall foliage. It's the perfect spot for a scenic hike or to snap some photos of the colorful leaves with the backdrop of the San Francisco peaks. You'll even find a swing beneath the trees here, which is really fun.
After we visited Aspen Corner, we stopped at the Arizona Snowbowl for a few minutes. We went on a Saturday, which happened to be the last weekend of the year for the gondola rides, and because of this, it was extremely busy and the line for the gondola was over an hour. They also priced their tickets based on the demand, and because it was so busy and a beautiful day, tickets were $50 per person. We were bummed we didn't get to take the gondola due to the cost and time, but the lodge at the base of the mountain was still fun to check out. The fall foliage was definitely the star of the show here.
The city was definitely busier than the night before, and we were really excited to check out Flagstaff's nightlife. We stopped at the Rendezvous Cocktail Lounge, which is located within the Monte Vista Hotel, which is another historic site in Flagstaff. It had a main bar area as well as a quieter lounge with couches. We got their whiskey chai and it was recommended to us. It did not disappoint. This was one of our favorite cocktails we had all weekend. In the same hotel, they also had a more informal bar called the Monte Vista Lounge where we stopped to grab a beer.
Just up the street, we found ourselves at the Drinking Horn Mead Hall, which served house-made mead. We had never tried mead before, so we sampled several of their flavors and naturally had to drink out of a horn like the Vikings did. Not shown here because we were laughing too hard to record while we were drinking out of the horns. Our next stop was the Annex Cocktail Lounge, which was a more upscale bar with craft cocktails. I got a beer and Allie got the 2 Tired Blondes, which is their take on an espresso martini with salted caramel foam.
To end the fun evening, we ate dinner at the Lumberyard, which has a variety of casual pub-style food. We ended up splitting a bunch of appetizers and tried their yard jar cocktails, which are 32 ounces
and come in mason jars. The food and drinks here were both really good.
We couldn't miss a visit to the Riordan Mansion during our Flagstaff getaway. Built in 1904, this historic mansion was home to two prominent lumber families. It is a craftsman-style home with over 40 rooms and sprawling 13,000 square feet. We just got done doing the guided tour at the Riordan Mansion here in Flagstaff. Really cool experience. For $2, you can do a self-guided tour around the back, but for $12, you can actually go inside of the mansion with a park ranger who gives you a lot of the family's history and details about the mansion.
Really good insight, and it was super cool, super beautiful. They don't allow video inside, so enjoy these photos.
The mansion was considered high-tech for the early 1900s, with running water, electricity, and indoor plumbing. There's also an open structure on the top floor, allowing for airflow, which was their version of air conditioning during the warmer months. In combination with the open skylight windows, the guide told us it cooled the house down about 15 degrees. Several of the original paintings, photos, and items belonging to the families are still on display today, including our favorite, the 1904 Steinway piano that we even got to play.
Along the way to lunch, we walked through the Northern Arizona University campus. The fall foliage on campus was so beautiful, and the campus was pretty modern. We ate lunch at the historic Brewing Co Barrel House, where we had their harvest salad and the Southwest steak melt. The food was great, and the service was really good. This was one of our favorite stops food-wise throughout the whole weekend.
A Flagstaff weekend getaway isn't complete without a visit to the visitor center at the train station right on historic Route 66. We walked through quickly to check things out before making our way to the farmers market. We love to walk through markets wherever we find them. They always have the best collection of snacks and produce.
The weather was absolutely perfect this day, so we stopped to sit on the patio and grab a beer at Meteor Brewing Co. There were so many families, puppies, and live music here. It was great. The beers were also really refreshing, and they had the mango foxtrot cider, so that's a win. If you visit Flagstaff on a sunny weekend, this place is a must. The patio was perfect, and the staff was super kind. Overall, just great vibes.
Our last stop for our weekend getaway in Flagstaff is here at the Lowell Observatory, where they discovered Pluto. We're excited to get in there, walk around, and check out the different telescopes.
Woohoo!
The tickets to enter the Lowell Observatory were $29, and it's best to visit on a clear weather day as they have several telescopes on the campus to see the sky both day and night. As mentioned, Pluto was discovered here in 1930, and you can see the 125-year-old Clark telescope, which is still in operation today. We also got to safely view the sun through their solar telescope they have on campus. It was actually really cool. They offer a variety of tours and talks throughout the day and some stargazing events in the evenings.
Shown here is the actual telescope they used to find Pluto. And of course, we had to hit the Toasted Owl to get a late afternoon snack before we made our drive home. We had such a fun weekend getaway in Flagstaff, and we cannot wait to explore more of Northern Arizona. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as follow us on TikTok and Instagram at DownsetFlyMedia. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks again for watching.